Did you know, Mark, your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value.
That's right. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight into your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards.
A Bitcoin bonus. That is what I need in my life. So I guess I have to visit Gemini.com/card today. If you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
Issued by WebBank. To qualify for the $200 crypto intro bonus, you must spend $3,000 in your first 90 days. Some exclusions to instant rewards apply. This is not investment advice, and trading crypto involves risk. Check Gemini's website for more details on rates and fees.
Girls' night. You laughed too loud. You sang off key. You made plans you'll probably never follow through on. But you didn't feel bad about any of it because you didn't do anything you'll regret. You were drinking RK, the world's first zero-proof spirit that tastes and feels like the real thing. All the fun, all the flavor, none of the hangover. Zero alcohol, zero guilt, 100% you. RK. Drink differently.
RK Zero Proof, your favorite cocktails made non-alcoholic. Available at Walmart, online at Amazon, or at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com.
And then there were four. Marc Sessler, Championship Sunday is upon us.
Yeah, if you can't feel a pulse off of this, you are dead.
Beautiful, gorgeous football, plus the latest news from around the league. It's all up next. Time to heed the call. Heyo, welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast. And then there were four. By Sunday night, we'll know the two teams playing for Super Bowl 60 glory. Will it be the upstart New England Patriots with their glorious young signal caller, Drake May? Will it be the Denver Broncos, the team of HTC, with their own Nick Foles situation coming into focus with Jarrett Stidham? Will it be the Los Angeles Rams, the team that spent more weeks atop the HTC power rankings than any team, and pound for pound, maybe the best team in the league, but are they the best team right now? Because a lot of people think that might be the Seattle Seahawks, who are mowing down the competition when it matters most. And we're going to talk about all of it. Dan Hanzus here, Marc Sessler, Conor Orr, Justin Graver on the ones and twos. Sessy, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, two teams will come out of Sunday, perhaps singing that famous line, "I think we're alone now." And they will be, to figure it all out. There's a lot of legacy on the line. There's a lot of, I think the whole Stidham thing could be one of the wilder NFL stories, so we should dig into it. And I noticed that I'm plugged in today because I opened our little jingle and I was punching the camera like this.
Yes.
And the last time I tried that, like in week 18, I knocked the camera out and the whole thing went down. And so I'm here now. I'm ready. I'm present.
It's a good sign. You're a pugilist. Pugilist of the highest order. You're not afraid to roll up the sleeves and, as you would say back in your secondary school days, put up your dukes, see?
Yeah. When it comes to fighting my laptop camera.
Conor, how you feeling about this week? And where does this weekend stack up to recent NFL seasons?
Well, I think that this has the potential to be one of those forgettable Super Bowls. I mean, I was just thinking about it, right?
Wait, slow down, hang on. Before Conor continues this point, I just have to remember, no matter how much I hype up something, I will throw it to Conor and he will immediately take a knife to the Charlie Brown float at the Thanksgiving Day parade. Carry on.
Okay. Forgettable to large swaths of the human race. I have loved every Super Bowl and appreciated it for the brilliance that it is. Like, I loved Seahawks Broncos 1. I thought that there were some incredible the defense, the code picking that the Seahawks were doing of Peyton Manning leading up to that. I mean, there's an art to that. There's something beautiful to it. But we can't escape the reality that as much as you love Sam Darnold, there is a chance that this is a Jarrett Stidham, Sam Darnold Super Bowl. And for maybe 86 million people, that's not nearly as interesting as it is for me. Like I'm so game for this. And what I love about this weekend is how much is on the line and how much kind of hangs on a razor's edge. Like we have quarterback injuries, we have backups, but also injured quarterbacks in these games, and how one hit could probably change the magnitude of a lifetime, of a legacy. And so I'm psyched. I'm ready. And we'll see what happens.
And for those 86 million people, which, by the way, I think you might be selling it short a little bit. I think they clear 100 million now for that big old game in February.
I think they birthed babies for the sheer purpose of that.
We could also get Matthew Stafford v. Drake May, 1 and 2 in the MVP race, future Hall of Famer against the future of the league. And it will
Which,
be
by the way,
fun.
would be better than that Rams-Patriots Super Bowl from a number of years ago, which was in the forgettable category.
Jared Goff.
But also
lifting his way through a 13-3 defeat. I believe you're referring to that game, yes.
Yeah. Also a brilliant defensive game, like such a great defensive game from both teams, like incredible game planning. But I'm warning people. That's all. I just don't want people to get let down. That's my goal in life, is to just
Can I just say, like, semi-related, 13-3 is my least favorite NFL game. It's like not totally exciting. It's probably close at one point with a couple field goals. Then someone scores a late touchdown, which is exactly how that Super Bowl played out. And it's like, final score, 13-3. Good night.
Yeah, this is not 1971.
But some people love it. Oh, yeah, defense. But you know what? This is the other subplot. And Connor, you did a nice job kind of teeing this up about how defense and the strategies, how it's always going back and forth in our league, like who's in control of the league, the offensive masterminds, the defensive masterminds. Here's a stat via Next Gen Stat via our old buddy Kevin Clark. The Broncos got the most pressures in the NFL from their starting defensive tackle duo. The Seahawks, second. The Rams, third. The Patriots, take a guess, fourth. There's a pattern.
And the inverse of that, because I looked this up before I came on the show, okay? If you take every single quarterback in the NFL playoffs, there was only 4 that averaged a positive EPA per play. Guess how many of those quarterbacks are still left and playing right now?
I'm going to go
3.
Keep the pattern going. Well, we can't count Stidham, obviously. 4.
4.
3 of the 3 regular starters.
Only one.
Right?
Okay. Because this is a defensive year. This is a defensive revolution. Defense
Mark and I should have followed that thread a little better.
And the only one is Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold was being actively prevented basically from throwing the football a week ago because he hurt his oblique. And so those two stats put together like Lego blocks so perfectly encapsulate this NFL season in a nutshell, which is great. I love defense. I love defensive game planning. I love all that stuff. I don't know if everybody else does as much as I do. That's all.
Just imagine, let's get ahead of some of these like storylines for the next 2 weeks. Imagine if the Seahawks do get by the Rams and the Pats take care of the Stidham Broncos. 2 weeks of hearing about Sam Darnold going from seeing ghost against the Patriots 5 or 6 years ago and his career seemingly in the toilet by the end of his rookie year to now a chance to play for the Lombardi Trophy. The narratives are rich. So let's get into it. Let's talk in order. Let's start with the AFC Championship game. 2 14-3 teams. The Patriots, by the way, undefeated on the road this season. Perfect 8-0 against the Denver Broncos. Undefeated. Well, they did take a loss against Jacksonville about a month ago, but otherwise undefeated at home. Well, not undefeated because the Jaguars beat them. 9-1 at home now. And something's got to give. And yes, the big storyline, of course, coming into this game is Bo Nix out, Jarrett Stidham in. And why don't we start there? Let's hear from Stidham first as he gets ready for the biggest game of his life. By the way, a guy that was drafted by the Patriots in the 4th round once upon a time.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is not about myself. First of all, I want to obviously my thoughts and prayers have been with Bo since Saturday night. I mean, it's crushing because he's one of my best friends, and Sam and I were talking about this. Like, Sam and I probably spend more time with him than his wife does right now. And that's just the nature of the business that we're in.
Hubba.
You know, when training camp starts, like, that's just how it is.
Did I read that wrong?
Like, I see Bo more than I see my kids, you know. So it's just one of those things.
Sorry.
You spend so much time with someone, you see how hard they work, how good of a teammate they are. And then that happens, and you feel crushed, you know, for him and everything. So, yeah, obviously my prayers and stuff have been with him. So
good. Well, here's the deal. Jarrett Stidham is a guy that Sean Payton laser locked on when he took over as head coach of the Broncos. I believe they traded for him to get him from the Raiders. I can't remember. Was it a free agent deal or whatever it was? They acquired him to be the backup behind Russell Wilson, and he's been pretty much in mothballs since. He played sparingly once the Russell Wilson thing started going sideways. Since Nix has taken over, Nix has been pretty much an Iron Man in these 2 years until what happened last weekend. So he's remained in the background. I did rewatch the game, Connor, this morning. It was the final week of the 2023 regular season against a 12-4 Niners team that had a lot to play for in that game. I think they went to the Super Bowl that year. Was that one of the Niners Super Bowl seasons? But I mean, it was a loaded Niners team. And the Raiders, playing out the string in another double-digit loss season, went back and forth, toe-to-toe against this Niners team, went to overtime. Stidham played extremely well. And I was really taken aback again watching. I think he threw for over 400 yards. He made plays off platform. He was masterful with his play action. Devontae Adams and him had a synergy that was just crazy. So he made use of his top receiver. And I came out of that game and I go into this game thinking, Connor, he can do this. And I think if I had to pick one head coach to set him up for this game, not to fail, it might be Sean Payton.
It would be Sean Payton for me. I mean, his track record with backups is just about as good as any supposed quarterback whisperer in the NFL. And the thing about Stidham is all those attributes that you described sound a lot like Bo Nix, right? And a lot of what we would say about Bo Nix. And in watching some of those plays like you did, if you were to have spliced Bo Nix in the same uniform with the same number on, a lot of times I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference. Now, maybe there's like a slight height differential or something like that, but they both love to be on the move. They both throw really well off of play action. Sean Payton's going to be rolling him out a lot. We'll get to, I think, some of the health bonuses that the Broncos have gotten on the injury front here that are going to help too. But I think you double down, you triple down on this. This guy was supposed to be the successor to Tom Brady in New England, and if it weren't for COVID, probably would have been. He's a really good quarterback, and I think he's definitely good enough to beat the New England Patriots.
Well, and the Patriots tried to acquire him before this season. Like, they clearly think highly of him. Devin McCourty, who played with him, said that he is a quick mental processor. He's very smart. He's beloved by his teammates. And this, to hear Sean Payton talk about him this week, it's like, it sounds to me that there's no intention to need to, have to, or want to change the game plan. That you can go do, because he is similar to Bo Nix, what you want to do, and that he's not afraid to throw the ball. Like in that Niners game, 365 yards, but a lot of it was him making decisions that maybe other backups would shy away from. Like, I see him as someone that's going to come out here with confidence. He's not a Stone Age pony. He can move. I think the one area that people point to, which is fair, is that Bo Nix, for maybe not being the most physically profound quarterback of all time, was really good at avoiding the sack. His sack rate was really low this year, and that was a big advantage for this Broncos offense. And Stidham is a much different quarterback on that front, numbers-wise, but the sample size is really small. I just kind of feel like, is there, and even though it's a backup and it's not Bo Nix, and there's a reason he's the backup, Sean Payton plus this situation, is there an advantage? Because they've not seen him throw a single pass in this offense this entire year. Is there early game we've got to figure out what he is and what we can do, what he will be? Although Josh McDaniels knows him very well.
Yeah, McDaniels was the head coach of the Raiders when Stidham had that great game against the 49ers. So there's a connection there. Yeah, I think that might be mitigated by the fact that, what is the stat? It's like 700 days since he played a game as a starter, a game that mattered and was active on the field. So there's going to be, I guess, a rust. There's going to be some nerves, you imagine, for Stidham. The other part of this for the Broncos is, even if Peyton does the job we expect him to do, which is have his backup ready for this game, and even if Stidham plays within himself and shows why some people, including I think all of us, think he has the ability to play well on this stage, despite having no playing time in recent years, they need to run the ball. Like the Broncos, and Connor, it's another thing that you were on. The Broncos have been increasingly reliant on Bo Nix to save their ass. And I don't think Bo Nix in general gets enough credit by people who cover the sport as being one of the young stars of the league and a guy just in his second year that had this team on the precipice of the Super Bowl before fate stepped in. But Nix bailed him out last week. Jaleel McLaughlin and RJ Harvey combined for 10 carries for 41 yards against the Bills last week. J.K. Dobbins, and Justin, can you check in on the Dobbins health situation? Dobbins is so important to stabilizing that running game. And if he can get on the field, I feel like that will be really important, Connor, for the Broncos to maybe give you some semblance of a rushing attack that allows Stidham to get into the game and not put too much on his shoulders.
And Dobbins is a key part of the Sean Payton formula, and Seth Wickersham popularized this earlier in the season when he wrote that little snippet in his book about Payton, where it's sacks and all turnover-worthy plays. And there's an equation that Payton has, and Bo Nix has been the best quarterback in the NFL since drafting him in that category. So what you need is Jared Stidham to go out there and to not take punishing plays, and you need J.K. Dobbins to be a pass protector in the backfield. I went back and I looked at Bo Nix sacks per game, and there's a lot of multi-sack games since R.J. Harvey's had to be there in a more permanent role. And back when Dobbins was healthy, it was a lot of like one sack, no sack games, and it was a little bit easier for him in the backfield with that guy as a protector. So I think that's massive. And as long as Stidham has some time, Sean Payton crafts those game plans around like, let's just not do a lot of stupid stuff. It's just a collection of things that you're comfortable with that aren't going to cost us on the turnover front. And so we'll see what happens there.
Yes.
J.K. Dobbins was designated to return from injured reserve on Monday. That doesn't guarantee that he's back, but he was practicing on Wednesday as a limited participant. We'll see if that ramps up today or tomorrow, but it does look good for his chances to return.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be the bell cow back for them either. Just if he can get out there and give them some balance, and a veteran and someone that you could trust to pick up a blitz, and all those things matter. Mark, there's the Patriots defense side of this too, because they're playing really well right now. And listen, let's be honest. We all know that the Patriots have been on a magic carpet ride. The carpet had been rolled out for them this season, both at the regular season schedule and even in the playoffs. They got 2 home games. They got a Chargers team that was devastated by injuries, and then they get the Texans, who fulfill their end of the bargain on defense, but C.J. Stroud makes them unable to win that game. Now, give credit, though, to the Patriots defense for what they did there. And according to PFF, New England is 4th in EPA per play and 15th in success rate and pressures opposing quarterbacks on 40.1% of pass rushing snaps. That's 7th highest in the league. So while their opponents, you have to factor in their opponents, Ceci, the defense continues to get better for New England, and that's been a huge help for them because the offense has been pretty inconsistent lately.
Yeah, they're definitely evolving, and it's players like a Milton Williams who has absolutely shown like a bright light weeks in a row. And you're right, they played a Texans O-line that is problematic, a shattered Chargers line, but they played really well. And like, I think that this team is facing a Broncos offensive line will be one of the best they've faced in a long time. And that's going to be a challenge. But again, I think it's an advantage to deal with Stidham versus Nix when it comes to pressure rate and getting to the quarterback. I'm a little concerned, like Carlton Davis has a concussion and it sounds like he has a chance to play or will play, but has been a big part of their pass protection or their secondary along with Marcus Jones. So it's health, it's altitude, and it's dealing with a quarterback that you've not seen in 2 years. But I think that the latter part becomes more of an advantage as the game goes along.
The Patriots have not lost a game this season in which Milton Williams and Christian Gonzalez have played together, which is wild. In the playoffs, and we've talked about schedule. In the playoffs, this defense has 13 more pressures than any other team in the postseason. The only other team that's even remotely close are the Rams. And so Stroud did help a lot in him kind of untying himself.
And the Chargers. I mean, that is,
and the Chargers,
those are beneficial matchups.
But still, I mean, who's to say that this can't happen against the Denver Broncos in a backup quarterback at this point, right?
It is. I mean, it's crazy. And Patriots fans don't want to hear it. But yeah, those are two very good matchups for them. And then Bo Nix breaks his ankle on the second to last play of overtime 7 days before the AFC Championship game. If the Patriots don't find a way to win this game, and they are favored, they're right on the bubble, by the way. I'm seeing, Justin, where are we at? I saw 4.5. I've seen 5.5, and that makes a big deal in our lock challenge. Where is it right now?
Yeah, so it was 5.5 when I put the rundown together yesterday. Just checked again. It is moved to 4.5. So if you wanted to take the Patriots, you can do so without worrying about how many points they win by.
And you better do it quickly because that line can move any second. And on the other side of the ball for the Patriots, I think it should be stated that they are very fortunate to be having played the offense that they've played the last 2 weeks because their offense isn't playing very well. And they have been fortunate to survive as a result. I mean, the issue with Drake May putting the ball on the ground, I would not be at all surprised with this Denver pass rush, knowing full well that this game is on their shoulders, for them to play with their hair absolutely on fire. I could see Nick Bonino making a huge play, a strip. Like, Drake May has to know he's got to protect the football. What does work in their favor, Connor, I think a little bit here, is the Pats are sneaky deep with playmakers. They might not have a superstar, but Kayshon Boutte, he has turned into a real playmaker for them. Stephon Diggs is a guy that you could count on in a big spot. You love having Stephon Diggs is kind of a dirtbag, let's be real, but he is a dude that you want on your team, especially.
Well, he's fertile. I don't know if he's fertile.
I think you could do a little more research, Mark, and it's more beyond fertile.
What I said is true. I'm not saying that what you said is untrue, but
Justin, can you get Stephon Diggs' personal chef on the line to talk with Mark? There's also Pop Douglas. That guy can make plays. We know what's happening with Ramondre Stevenson and the rookie back there as well, Travion Henderson. There are a lot of guys that can make plays, and that will help them deal with a Broncos defense. Like, you could say, okay, they have the best cornerback in the league, Denver, to shut down, pick your wide receiver. But there are other guys on the Patriots that can make plays. Can Drake May limit his mistakes and take advantage of that?
He has to. I mean, it's kind of shocking that he's had 6 fumbles, 3 of them lost in these 2 games, and that they've come out the way they have. I think the matchup that I'm concerned about is Will Campbell is going to be an awesome player, and he is a good player, but like Nick Bonito versus Will Campbell's not had his 2 greatest games. He struggled a little bit against Mac and the Chargers. That was true last week to some degree. And then you're creating chaos for your quarterback if this Broncos pass rush, which leads in sacks, like, gets going. And like, I think there is a mental component that, like, we've got to do it this game. We can't ask the quarterback to do it. We've got to do it. And does that change things and amp things up? They're at home. That's a rugged, wild place to play. And if you start to beat the Patriots along the line, like, this game could get a little bit ugly for New England.
Dan, you mentioned Stephon Diggs, and well, everybody mentioned Stephon Diggs and his fertility and everything like that, but he has like a 25% target share for Drake May, which is a lot. And I think the next closest is Hunter Henry. And so when you look at it that way, it's like, how can Josh McDaniels create a game plan that makes Drake May comfortable enough to get Stephon Diggs involved? Because clearly that's a security blanket for him. I mean, a quarter of all of your throws are going to one person, versus if you're Vance Joseph, do you pull that lever and just put Pat Surtain on Stephon Diggs and basically say, okay, now beat me with the ancillary pieces that you just talked about, right? And I'm dying to know what he does, because you didn't see, I could be wrong on this, I don't remember Patrick Surtain traveling a lot. I remember him kind of locking down one side of the field. But once you get past those top two corners in Denver, it's a little perilous for the Broncos, right? I mean, Riley Moss has been targeted all season. I mean, he's the guy that teams are going after. Jahdae Barron's had some good games, but I don't think is quite there yet. And maybe this is his breaking out party, but at the same time, maybe he's another guy that the Patriots are kind of looking at and saying, okay, if Diggs is getting taken away, how can I make headway against someone like you?
And we said it last week, going into the division round playoffs, this Bronco, despite their reputation, this Broncos defense is good to very good, better than great. And then we saw it again against the Bills. They gave up 30 points, and let's be real, Buffalo, if not for a number of miscues by the quarterback and some bad luck with the officiating, could have scored 40 in that game. So the Broncos can be had. And to Conor's point, and to what I was saying, the Patriots have the playmakers to spread out this Denver defense and do some damage. Now, let's pick the game. And I'll start on this one, because when I was watching that glorious Stidham start in 2023, January of 24, I guess it would have been. Or no, it was January of 23. There was one play where he beautifully sells a play action, rolls to his right. On the play action, a young safety for the 49ers named Hufanga bites on it.
One of your guys.
Bites on it. And then Stidham throws deep, touchdown, Raiders. I do think in this weird NFL season where things aren't chalky, we don't expect them to be this season, that the Broncos are going to get a good Stidham performance, and it's going to be one that makes the Bo Nix loss mitigated. And then it comes down to how much do you believe in the Broncos defense to be great, better than good. I think they get it done. They've gotten it done all season. They are the team of HTC. Maybe it's Hanzus TC. Maybe let's be real. I haven't been able to get the rest of the group to buy in, but that's on you guys, not on me. This team has showed so much fight and so much grit, and I feel like Sean Payton is going to have these guys ready to run through a damn wall and be selling this quarterback change as another reason why they need to shock the world. So they have the motivation. They're home underdogs despite being 9-1. They take care of business. They send a Patriots team home that has a very bright future ahead of them, but they're not going to the Super Bowl. Final score, 27-20.
Woo!
Hanzus TC.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a real ring to it. I've been thinking
That's
about
what Dan
this
thinks
game.
it is anyway.
Well, he could probably run through the mind. Okay, let's go here.
Hanzus TC.
Oh, you're referring to the death trap that Conor drives.
Dude,
A little bit
by
of
the way,
a reach there by the producer, but I always like to talk about Conor's death trap of a family SUV.
We've been
minivan.
getting pile driven with snow the last few days, and that car is a fucking joke in wintry conditions. And so this happened yesterday. I had to apologize to my son because we had to go pick up my daughter at the bus stop. And I'm texting everybody that I can text to just be like, hey, if someone's at the bus stop, can someone just walk her back to my house? Because I got the baby nap and I got a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of irons in the fire, and no one's getting back to me. Everybody's busy, and so I'm like, all right, I gotta pile everybody in the TNC. And then I gotta whip over there to the to the bus stop. We have like a thin layer of snow in the driveway. I can't get this thing out of a flat fucking driveway, and then it slides to the right and then just smashes into like the median of my driveway and my neighbors because of the weather conditions. So I get out and I take the keys out of the ignition and I just fire them at the van as hard as I can, and then do a wind sprint over to the bus stop to get my daughter. And so, listen, I think the TNC dream is just it's dying a little bit. It's dying a little
you
bit
need to
right
put
now.
in some snow chains on that, Connor. Add another task to the.
You need a real vacation. You need hey, I'm leaving, and I don't think it's going to go over well with the wife. And please don't say that I said this on the show, because I know your wife already has feelings about our show. But you need to get the hell out of Dodge. You got to go to Acapulco, bro. And by the way, one other thing, Ceci, that car, the TNC, that is not like a Porsche Spider, right? It's not something that it's like built for a racetrack. Like, that should be able to get down a damn driveway. And that it points to what all the Consumer Reports said that Connor should have paid attention to.
Well, right now
he's
in a very fraught space where that Consumer Report looks more and more factual. I'm thrown by the report, Connor, that it's not able to handle. I think you said an inch of snow. That's a little concerning, because you're in a snowy part of the country, and a massive storm is incoming, from what we know.
Yeah, we should check in on the weather. By the way, also in Denver, it is going to be not as unseasonably warm as it's been there. In fact, all season in Denver, I think it set a record for like the most games above 50 or 60 degrees. It will be cold there, high of 29, but only 11% chance of precipitation, partly cloudy. So it should not be a weather game there.
And very light wind.
All right, so weather should not be an issue. What are the rest of our picks?
I believe I was beginning to unfurl mine when we went down that alleyway there. I've been thinking about this game a lot, and I see where you're coming from, Dan. Like, I feel in my heart that the Broncos are going to win this game. It's going to be extremely memorable. It's going to take a couple Drake May short field mistakes that set up and get confidence in the Broncos offense going. And I think the defense will do its part. I see a couple moments where like the Patriots offense is compromised and late. And I think this ends with a game-winning field goal and the Broncos win 19-17 as the game expires.
I'm a little surprised, Ceci. I know you've been high on the Patriots.
I think their luck, I think it runs out here for some reason that like the football gods got involved with this whole Jarrett Stidham. I'm also susceptible to getting swept up.
You love the backup
in a
quarterback
Stidham type
situation.
thing too.
Absolutely.
So I
okay, that does
yeah.
check out. How about you, Conman?
So I was talking to my co-host Albert Breer this morning, and he had mentioned that if Sean Payton were to win this game and to take Jarrett Stidham to the Super Bowl, that's probably fast-tracking him for the NFL Hall of Fame. And the moment that he said that, I was 2,000% certain that it would happen. And so I am locking the Denver Broncos. I am picking the Denver Broncos. And I am so sure that my cocky little anti-Payton narrative is about to turn into a torturous reign of success for Denver. So,
and we get 2 weeks of Sean Payton leading up to the Super Bowl.
Just walking around. Yeah, just.
Is this a little bit of a reverse jinx, Connor? I know you've been in a little bit of a slide. And what does your mom have to say about this over at St. Margaret's in Jersey? She lighting any candles?
Our Lady of Snows. I think that was sort of a what's the saying? Turn the other cheek. Like, we won the battle, we won the war, and now it's just time to let.
I mean, she got Bo Nix out of there.
Yeah, maybe.
It's very powerful.
Maybe.
Never bet against a mom aligned with Jesus. All right, stay right there. We'll hit some news, and then we will do the NFC Championship game preview. Stay right there. Oh, Ceci, whenever I'm traveling with other people, I almost always book a stay at Airbnb because it just makes the whole trip better. Recently, I took a trip with the family, and instead of squeezing into a hotel or, asking relatives to put us up, we stayed in a home listed on Airbnb right in a local neighborhood. We had actual space, multiple bedrooms, a living room to hang out in, a full kitchen where we made breakfast together before heading out for our day. We also had the kids. But with Airbnb, the kids' bedtime doesn't have to be your bedtime.
And Dan, that's the big difference for me. When you book with Airbnb, you're not just sleeping somewhere, you're staying somewhere. You get more privacy, more room, and a place that feels lived in.
And Mark, don't forget the other plus of being in a neighborhood instead of a tourist zone. It makes the trip feel more authentic, like we were getting a real sense of the city. We even booked a guest favorite, which are the most loved homes on Airbnb, and marked with a badge for their top ratings. And it completely lived up to that status. Everyone could relax, spread out, and actually enjoy the trip.
Yeah, totally, Dan. So whether it's friends, family, or a group getaway, having a home-like place just makes everything easier and a lot more memorable.
Book your next stay with Airbnb.
You know, everyone's deploying AI agents these days. They're automating tasks, handling workflows, making decisions. Sounds amazing, right?
Yeah, but there's got to be a catch, right?
Well, sometimes AI agents mess up. They delete the wrong files, make changes you didn't authorize, or just go off script. And when that happens, you're stuck figuring out what went wrong and how to fix it.
We don't like that.
Nope, unless you're using Rubrik Agent Cloud. AI is here, but can you control the risk?
That's right, Mark. AI agents move fast, and now a single misstep can create 10 times the damage in a fraction of the time. That's why Rubrik Agent Cloud is a game changer. It's the only platform that lets you monitor, govern, and rewind AI agent actions, so you can unleash more agents faster without the risk.
Rubrik Agent Cloud runs in the background, watching everything, enforcing guardrails, and if something goes wrong, you just roll it back. Like undo, but for AI, and we're talking minutes, not hours or days.
That's why hospitals, banks, and other sensitive industries are already using it, because they can't afford mistakes. And honestly, using Rubrik Agent Cloud has made me way less nervous about letting AI agents actually do things. If your business relies on AI agents, you need the ability to monitor, govern, and rewind their actions.
Right now, Heed the Call listeners get exclusive early access to Rubrik Agent Cloud. Head to Rubrik.com. That's Rubrik.com, Rubrik.com.
All right, we are back. Okay, before we get into the second game, let's talk some quick news around the league. Let's start with a press conference. Obviously, the huge story coming out of last weekend's games was Sean McDermott got because the Bills couldn't find a way to beat the Broncos. And that led to one of my favorite things, Connor, the press conference where the team is on tilt and the owner and the GM are saying a bunch of weird shit and we all get to dissect it. And you come out of certain press conferences sometimes feeling like that team might not be on good footing to take the next step in his organization, even though they're holding a press conference ostensibly to get back on the ground that they want to be on to win a Super Bowl. I don't think it had that effect in the public discourse. Here's Terry Pegula, the owner. He's saying a bunch of stuff on the podium, said that the McDermott firing was based on the results of the game in Denver. He also said that they lost the game because of a, quote, bad call. So that's a little confusing, the messaging there. Here is a little bit from the owner on that.
I did not fire a coach based on a bad officiating decision. If I can take you into that locker room, I felt like we hit the proverbial playoff wall year after year. 13 seconds, missed field goals, the catch. So I just sensed in that locker room, like, where do we go from here with what we have? And that was the basis for my decision.
And then you need to also throw the coach that you just fired under the bus. And for some reason, they go down Keon Coleman wormhole, the former second-round pick wide receiver who is deactivated for multiple games, hasn't lived up to the hype. And they essentially positioned it as if Brandon Beane, the team builder, had nothing to do with the move to bring in Coleman.
Yeah, I mean, can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon.
Jesus Christ,
I'm not saying
man.
Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And,
Come on.
He's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it. But I'm here to tell you the true story.
Here's what Terry forgets, though, is that NFL Films is everywhere, and NFL Films was in the draft room the day they took second round
so
pick,
good.
Keon Coleman. Here's a little clip of that.
When I
Brandon
went to
Beane.
bed that night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
I mean, you just look like a bunch of assholes, Sessy.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are maybe 5 NFL owners who should take the microphone for more than 2 to 3 minutes. This was a disservice to the Bills. You somehow made the environment look less attractive than the best job available with Josh Allen as your quarterback. I come away concerned with Brandon Beane, the person, a little bit. And the owner, to me, just bumbled that. And he looks a little impetuous, a little rash in his thinking. And I do understand that there may have just come a natural end to the Sean McDermott experience, but none of this helped that. It was unnecessary, and to drag him under the bus on the weird Keon Coleman thing is the highlight of it, but the whole thing was just unnecessarily done and poorly done, and he's stepping over Brandon Beane on that story too. I just thought it took the Bills thing and it soiled it. It soiled it. We'll be fine. Someone's going to take the job at some point, but you got to look at the owner and say, this is not a premier owner who I want in my face on a day-to-day basis on any level.
I think Pagula's heart was in the right place there without the knowledge of all the receipts because it wasn't just that NFL Films documentary. It was the Combine documentary where Beane was sitting there watching Keon Coleman run the 40 and saying the fact that he ran a slower 40 time was a huge bonus for them because he would fall to them. And this is without McDermott anywhere near or anybody in the coaching staff anywhere near him. But I think Pagula was trying to kind of legitimize his decision to pick the GM over the coach. But if I'm a prospective head coach in Buffalo, there are 2 things that concern me there. What is Beane telling Pagula? Because Pagula clearly comes out and says, this is the truth, in quotes, right? Because the truth is a prickly thing in an NFL building. Did he go behind the coach's back and say, hey, I didn't want to pick that guy, even though there was a mountain of evidence that said otherwise? And the other thing that just worries me very quickly is the fact that listen to the words that Pagula is saying when he was asked about his decision to fire McDermott. I think, I felt. These are in the moment reactions to a very big decision. Like you're firing he's 98 and 50. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been moved on, but like he's like the 13th highest winning percentage of a coach in NFL history. Like this is like just because you thought or you felt or this in the moment thing that's tough. That's a tough call.
Yes, isn't that pointing to the fact that he's leaning on Brandon Beane for so much of this football side of things? And during these games, who's sitting next to the owner half the time?
Exactly.
Critiquing what's happening down the field, probably critiquing the way that game went down. And it leads to a non-football person who's the most powerful person in the building making what I think was a rash decision. You could have waited on that a little bit more.
I think they showed their whole ass in that press conference. I saw this. Chris B. Brown, the smart football writer, included something he posted this week. Bill Walsh, who is one of the great geniuses ever in the NFL, wrote this. At the top of the club, you've got the owner. He doesn't have the knowledge he should have. He has a knowledge of business. He made it quickly. He wants things to be done quickly without quite knowing how. In the middle somewhere is the GM. Nobody knows why he's gotten to that position. He's firmly within the owner's comfort zone. He demands quite a salary for doing very little. Then there's a personnel man, often a frustrated player or coach. He justifies his position by sending scouts out. Then there's the coach. He's in there with his assistants at midnight, looking over the film again and again, trying to find out what's wrong. And while he's in there, the owner and the GM and the personnel men are having dinner. And over martinis, they're discussing the team. The GM says, look, we've got the best facilities and administration and exhibition schedule. We've set up every possibility to do a job. The personnel man says, well, we've certainly got the players. We had a great draft. I know because I read it in the papers. Look, everybody knows Smith is a guard, not a tackle. Everybody knows that he should be playing inside instead of Jones. Everybody knows so-and-so should be the quarterback. They put their heads together. What do? So they get a new head coach, obviously in the GM's comfort zone, but not too strong a threat. The personnel man's going to take a side with the GM on anything. He knows where he got his job. So the cycle starts over again. I don't think the Bills are going to come out of this better.
No, and McDermott and Beane were friends. And McDermott opened the door for him to be in that organization, and look how it ends. Like it's just raw and brutal.
And by the way, there's a petition out there amongst Bills fans trying to get Sean McDermott brought back as head coach. It's not going to happen, but it tells you a lot. In other news, this is a crazy story, by the way. The 49ers, they're smarting in their own way, trying to figure out what went wrong with their team this season. And I think it's very clear, obviously, that injuries undermined them, ending with that blowout loss in the divisional round. So after yet another injury-plagued season, the team announced that it intends to investigate every avenue to find out why they continue to deal with more injuries than others year after year. And that includes, this is wild, I love this, an investigation into the viral conspiracy theory that the electrical substation near their training facility and Levi Stadium is contributing to those injuries. Here's general manager. Oh my
Feels
God.
like a Heat and Light episode.
Here's general manager John Lynch.
Because it deals with allegedly, the health and safety of our players, I think you have to look into everything. And so our guys we've been reaching out to anyone and everyone to see, does a study exist other than a guy sticking an apparatus underneath a fence and by coming up with a number that I have no idea what that means. That's what we know exists. We've heard that debunked. So yes, we will look into it. We have, the health
We
and
will
safety
look
of our
into it.
players is of
That very big.
Kyle's face.
I was going to say, Kyle Shanahan looks so agitated with
Kyle's
the whole
just like, I want to be
concept.
on a beach chair in Acapulco next to Conor Orr right now. Not thinking about electric towers or shitty minivans. Just get me out of here.
This is like when you get deep into a retro police investigation and then they're like, F it, let's call in a psychic, because at this point we have no idea where the body's buried and maybe this wacky old lady from the side of the road is going to know. But my favorite part of this is that someone commented on Twitter. They're like, it's, even if it's not, it just costs a couple $1 million. Just move it. You're talking about moving a fucking electrical substation. It's not a couple $1 million.
No.
This is
Not
a
it.
massive undertaking. This is something you just do tomorrow and just be like, yeah, just dig it up. It's fine.
How about
It's an
this?
electrical substation.
How about this? Injury, being able to stay on the field is a skill set in football in any sport. And you also have a roster with some core players that are a little bit older. Some of them have extensive injury histories. So there's a component of bad luck, but it's also your personnel might be more susceptible to injuries, and I think that's what's happened. But it also could be the giant electricity tower behind the practice field.
Yeah, I fully expect John Lynch to come back with a dense written report explaining that this is the reason and they are going to address it financially.
It's another team that I don't feel better about after a press conference. Let's head to coordinator corner. Brian Flores is staying with the Vikings as his defensive coordinator. Maybe. Flores and the team announced that the plan is to continue in business together. He's been doing a tremendous job for Minnesota this season. However, Flores is still in the mix for head coaching work, including in Pittsburgh. He can move off the Minnesota job to Pittsburgh or Baltimore if they offer him a head coaching job. We've heard a lot about Minter being the Ravens guy, although it's not official yet. But yes, Flores might be staying with the Vikings. If he doesn't get a head coach job, he will be staying with the Vikings. Meanwhile, the Cowboys who were kind of rumored to be hot for Brian Flores if he was available as their DC, are working to hire Christian Parker as their DC. Sources tell Rap Sheet and Pelissero. Just 34 years old, Parker spent the past 2 seasons as the passing game coordinator and DB's coach under Fangio with the Eagles. You like that one, Connor?
Great hire. And the Cowboys were never going to get Brian Flores because guess what? You'd have to pay him more than you're paying Brian Schottenheimer to get him, and they're not going to do that. So I think Flores is going to end up coming out of this as the highest paid coordinator in the league. Jerry Jones doesn't spend that kind of money. But Christian Parker has been, Vic Fangio doesn't have a lot of like disciples. But if you were to go back to like when Fangio was like the head coach in Denver, Christian Parker is the closest thing to a true Fangio disciple. I think he's been on the rise. He's young, but just talking to this guy, as I have a couple times, he is razor sharp. And I think this is a slam dunk hire for them.
They just have to keep changing personnel, though, as you move from one scheme to the next, to the next, to the next. I think it's a toll on a Cowboys team to have to do that. But I mean, look at they've needed like the right guy on defense. I do wonder how far we're away from like a 25-year-old coordinator being hired to do something. Like it's like there's almost there's nobody available in their like mid to late 40s in the coaching realm right now. I mean, I love it, but it's.
Do you love it?
The two coaches that the Browns are going
about
after,
the
like
youth of America having their turn at this thing.
Well, they've been going around in hiring circles for 2 decades. These older guys, so.
Yes, it's the next generation. Welcome to the OC, bitch. Let's talk that side of the ball.
Welcome to the OC, bitch.
The Chargers hire Mike McDaniel. Those who know. The Chargers hire Mike McDaniel as their offensive coordinator. I cannot wrap my head around that interview. Somebody out there had a great, I want to give them a shout out because I posted it. I reposted it.
Joey Molinaro, right?
Holy goodness. Yes, Joey Molinaro sent out a great like comedic short where he played both Mike McDaniel and Jim Harbaugh during the hypothetical interview process. Check it out on Twitter if you haven't seen it. But part of the reason why that was such a great 60-second clip, and I would have watched 60 minutes of it, was it feels so real. Like Mike McDaniel is coming from one end of the spectrum, it feels like, in terms of his view on not just football, but the world. And then there's Jim Harbaugh on the other side. But somehow they met in the middle and impressed each other enough to break bread. And it is at the very least, Connor, it is a very interesting partnership between these two. And for Chargers fans that really struggled watching that team on offense and this conversation now, it's going to really dog Justin Herbert about, are you as good as everybody thinks? And why are you so bad in the playoffs? Here's Mike McDaniel to add a lot of pizzazz to this offense, hopefully.
He's the latest one that has kind of staken his claim on, I'm going to go be Justin Herbert's offensive coordinator, and it's going to springboard me right into a big-time head coaching job. I mean, we had Kellen Moore come in and do that. We had Joe Lombardi come in and do that. We had Greg Roman come in, and Greg Roman probably was never going to get springboarded into a head coaching job at that point. But a lot of people have thought that this is the path, that this is the avenue for them. And while I do think that Mike McDaniel is going to maximize him, we've been saying that the Chargers are going to change. They're going to maximize. They're going to make the conference championship and the Super Bowl every year since Anthony Lynn's been the head coach. And quite frankly, I'm just tired of it because so many mitigating factors seem to come and collapse our little fantasies that we concoct here.
I mean, I do think that there is a through line or a Venn diagram connection between Harbaugh and McDaniel's obsessive natures. Mm-hmm. Like I kind of can't wait. This feels different to me than Anthony Lynn and other people because it's like you've got these Shanahan run concepts and everything that mixes with Harbaugh, and they want to run the ball. They're going to be healthy along the line. And like, I just think it might be it might flip the switch on this offense for a year before he gets hired somewhere else.
Yes.
As the self-proclaimed Mike McDaniel expert of the podcast, I'll just say everyone thinks it's kind of a weird fit because McDaniel wants to be this explosive, blah, 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 and Harbaugh wants to be this ground and pound. Let's not forget, Mark, you kind of alluded to it there. Mike McDaniel got his start as a run game coordinator and run game expert. I think that's where this actually is a great fit with what Harbaugh wants to do.
Good point.
Yeah. And whatever happens, Justin Herbert has to stop being like terrible in the playoffs. Can this offensive game plan unlock that? And how much is nothing to do with scheme and just Herbert not stepping up in the big moment? It's an ugly narrative that now is around that quarterback, and it's going to be part of his legacy until he changes it. Falcons hire Tommy Rees as their OC. The Bucs hire Zach Robinson, the former Falcons OC, as their offensive coordinator. I think that's 6 and 6 years for Baker.
He's had 9 in his career.
9 offensive coordinators for Baker Mayfield. Now, the Lions, we mentioned, they hired Drew Petzing, the former Cardinals offensive coordinator, as their new OC. Nice spot for Petzing there. The Chiefs bring back Eric Bieniemy as their OC, and I guess that means Matt Nagy, for the time being, is without a dance partner. He went from finalist of the Titans head coach job to now without a job. Connor, you are our resident coordinator expert. Your thought on any of these hires?
So with Nagy, he let his contract lapse purposely because I think he was really gunning for that Titans job, and he obviously was a finalist for it. He's with Philly, I think, interviewing in Philly, and I do think he's possibly in the mix to be Saleh's offensive coordinator if a couple other things don't fall. Let's say Dable lands in Buffalo, and then there's just a couple other bricks that fall there. Maybe Joe Brady gets a head coaching job. Maybe he falls down the pecking order enough where he's relevant there. But yeah, I think this is an interesting thing. Justin is shaking his head.
I mean, look, I don't know anything about anything, but there's multiple insider reports about who the Titans are considering at offensive coordinator, and Nagy's name has not come up. Kingsbury, Arthur Smith, Brian Dable, Adam Stenavich, Bobby Slowick are the names we keep hearing for the Titans.
Yeah. But I think also if you're Saleh and the GM likes Matt Nagy and the owner likes the GM, there's a world where a lot of this stuff comes crashing down on you, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, this ends up making the most sense. I'm just not ruling it out, is what I'm
Nick
saying.
Sirianni and Matt Nagy together. I would love to see it. I love it.
Jalen Hurts and Matt Nagy.
I love it.
That
Let's
job
do that.
has a stink on it right now.
Why is it interesting? Is anybody at all asking questions around why nobody wants the Eagles job? Maybe it's not as
I mean,
good
maybe
as-
because the last guy
Because
had
of
his
Jalen.
house egged.
Yeah, but the guy before that got a head coaching job, and then the last guy got his house egged, proverbially, and then the guy before that got a head coaching job. And this, by the pattern, this guy should do well and then get a head coaching job. But it seems like right now people don't want to lock into that pattern.
Not to make a comparison that doesn't make sense, but the Lions are in the exact same pattern right now. The guy before Ben Johnson, I don't even remember who it was, got fired. Ben Johnson got a head coaching job. John Morton got fired. Is Drew Petzing next in line for a head coaching job?
We shall see. All right, let's take a break and then hit the NFC title game. When you bring a child into the world, your perspective changes overnight. Suddenly you're thinking years ahead, childcare, school, all those milestones you can't wait to see. Part of loving my family meant thinking about their future, even in the uncomfortable ways. That's why I purchased life insurance through Ethos. What stood out to me most was how fast and simple the process was, Ceci.
Yeah, Ethos makes getting life insurance 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in as little as 10 minutes, and even get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just have to answer a few health questions online. Coverage can go up to $3 million, and some policies are as low as $30 a month.
That's right, Mark. And it's not just me. Ethos is trusted by thousands of people with a 4.8 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot from over 3,000 reviews. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named them the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider.
Yep. Protect your family with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote in minutes at ethos.com/HTC. That's ETHOS.com/HTC. Ethos.com/HTC.
Application times and rates may vary.
Hi, this is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, certified financial planner, and the host of the Jill on Money podcast. With the new year upon us, there's no better time to take control of your financial life. And the Jill on Money podcast is here to help. It's your questions that make it possible for me to provide unconventional and, I hope, entertaining insights on your money and, more importantly, on your life. Follow and listen to Jill on Money wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you really buying a car online on AutoTrader right now?
Really?
At a playground?
Yeah, really. Look at these listings from dealers.
Wow, your search can really get that specific.
Really?
And you just put in your info and boom, car's in your budget.
Mom needs a second, honey.
You can really have it delivered?
Really. Or I can pick it up at the dealership. One sec, sweetie. Mommy's buying a car.
Mommy, look! I think your kid is walking up the slide.
Kyle, again? Really?
AutoTrader. Buy your car online. Really?
All right, we are back. Like we said, we moved to the NFC Championship game now. A brilliant contest, one of those special ones that I hope we'll be talking about for a long time. It is the Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks, division rivals. They've split 2 head-to-head matchups during the regular season, and now the rubber match. Seattle's favored by 2.5 right now. It is the late game on Sunday with Burkhardt and Brady. And Sassy, you gotta love it. You absolutely have to love it. And it's a study of 2 teams that I think you could make a case for both of these teams as the best team in football. It's kind of a throwback in some ways to the old days in the early 90s when the Niners and the Cowboys would meet, and it felt like that game was the Super Bowl because whoever came out of this was going to be heavily favored. in the against the AFC. I think that's how this is going to play out as well. Who's going to win? I don't know. Jim. What do you think, Mark?
I don't know either. I mean, I think that's what's great about it is we saw two really different Rams offenses. I'll start there when in these two encounters. Like Matthew Stafford, when they played in Week 11, had 130 yards passing, his season low. And then they meet again merely a month later in Week 16, and Matthew Stafford throws for 457 yards, and Puka Nacua has 225. And it leaves me puzzled just because it's this Seahawks defense that I think is the best unit in all of football of the remaining teams. And they look like they're the kind of team that could stamp out anyone at home and make a game non-competitive by the third quarter. But then the Rams did this to them merely weeks ago. And I think that it is a classic scheme showdown between Mike Macdonald and Sean McVay, and it's like, what are they cooking up right now? I trust that the Rams are going to look somewhere in between these two performances, but Stafford to me is just a gamer, and he's been on his game, and it's like, I trust him to be there at the end in the final couple minutes, but I want to do one thing. I want to lock up the team that Dan does not lock up in this game, because I have to go head to head with you in a lock off, no matter what you do, because it's my only chance to not play for some absurd tie next week or just be out of it.
Okay,
so
well, I'll keep that in mind, and I have to put you in the position that you don't want to be in. Connor, your thoughts? I'll think on that, Mark.
I said this off the top of the show, but I want to dive in a little bit more. In both of these games, really, we are one quarterback hit away from absolute catastrophe. Think about this. In the Denver-New England game, we are one hit away from Ben DiNucci, who was a TV analyst 2 weeks ago talking about the Broncos taking snaps in the conference title game. And in this game, we are one quarterback hit away to Sam Darnold's oblique into his ribcage area from Drew Lock, playing against Chris Shula's defense in the title game. And we can break it down all we want, and we can talk like about how the Rams need to establish the run game, how they need to diversify because the run game stalled against the Seahawks, how it's all about yards after the catch for these receivers against that too high shell defense that they're going to face. But the reality is, this game can completely change if Chris Shula dials up one hell of a blitz and just lays the smackdown on Sam Darnold early in this game, because then he can't throw, and it's game over.
I think it is a subplot to watch. It couldn't have played out better for Seattle. Justin, can you check what Sam Darnold's practice availability has been this week? It could not have played out better for Seattle against a San Francisco team that was out of gas. Shaheed runs back the kickoff, puts him in the driver's seat, and then they just pour it on. And Darnold only throws 17 passes in that game and exits in the second half and watches the rest of the game from the sideline. It's not going to be like that in this game. Let's be real. Unless we're looking at a Seattle team that has now turned into one of those juggernauts that we talk about as like the best team of the decade type thing, and they just pour it on against Los Angeles. I don't think it turns out that way. I think this is a close game, and I think Darnold's going to be in a dogfight, and he's going to be running for his life, and he's going to be taking hits. And we talked about at the top of the show how the Rams have one of the best pass rushes in the league, how they get to you from the edge or the interior. So he's going to have to absorb hits. He's going to have to throw on the run. It's going to put a big test on that oblique. What's going on, Justin, with Darnold's practice this week?
Yeah, so Darnold, limited participant on Wednesday. Mike Macdonald admitted he will be managing his workload ahead of the huge showdown and said he's not going to be a full go the whole week. We have a plan. We're going to work through it, see how the day goes, and then we'll kind of take it day by day. He won't be throwing every ball, every play for the whole week.
I mean, that tells you that, no matter what, no matter how he's listed or what his practice reps might or might not look like, this is a factor. And you mentioned Chris Shula, Connor. Like, this is another great showdown between Clint Kubiak and Chris Shula, who probably are in their last game with both teams, depending on who gets hired where. And Chris Shula, I think, has done a good job against Sam Darnold of kind of disguising coverages and baffling Darnold. They picked him off 6 times in 2 games. He had that 4 interception meltdown where I think that was a turning point for Darnold because it was the performance that maybe you think he just goes off into the sea. And I thought he recovered inside the game and since, but his QBR and other metrics have tumbled since that week. And so an unhealthy Darnold against a Chris Shula defense that has shown they can cause a lot of problems, like, is just an added factor. Yeah. The health part of it.
And that game, that classic 38-37 Seahawks win, I think was the game that really, more than any other game in Darnold's career so far, took a little heat off of him, because I think everyone had the same viewpoint on him, or there was a collective viewpoint that this guy, yes, he's winning a lot now and he has very good numbers, but he will melt down in a big spot. And in that game, it looked like he made some mistakes earlier in that game. But remember, he goes on that incredible drive late in the game, makes the beautiful throw to Kupp, throws the touchdown pass, and then throws the 2-point conversion. And I feel like that was a huge lift, both in terms of narrative around Darnold and also Darnold's own confidence. So we haven't heard, now we're talking about Darnold's health. We're not as much talking about whether he can handle this spot. And the good thing also for Darnold, Connor, that it's not all on him. He has a great defense and a brilliant defensive mind in McDonald and a running game. Even with Zach Charbonnet out for the year now with the ACL, Kenneth Walker was running the ball really well last week, and they will need a balanced attack behind Darnold, but I think they can get it.
Well, you mentioned that, and that's where I was going to go with it. Some of the strength that Seattle's offense derives is from the fact that they have two factor backs that are essentially at the same skill level. Maybe Walker's a little bit better, but are always being able to rotate, are always super fresh. And now you're going to someone like Velus Jones, who I think has 4 carries on the season. I mean, the two of these guys have really taken up a lion's share of the carries for Seattle's offense. And so now you're looking at it and you're saying, and you never want to put this on someone or mush someone, but you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, this guy hasn't played all season. What if he, does this come down to a fumble, something like that? Or do you just risk the fact that, hey, Kenneth Walker, you're going to have a week off next week, and this is all on you, big dog. Like, we're just going to ride you from the beginning to the end, and hopefully he has that transcendent performance game, which we know he's capable of. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just, he's better when fresh, like everybody else.
And that was one of the reasons that Sam Darnold didn't have to do much or make that injury worse a week ago. But you're right, though, without Zach Charbonnet too, they were such a good A and B. And I think that's a big factor. But Kenneth Walker is the kind of, I think he had like a 55-yard touchdown rush against the Rams when they played in week 16. That game also featured Rashid Shaheed have a kick return for a touchdown. I mean, it's like this team is complete, and I think you can nip the Rams with some special teams moments. That's been an issue for LA going on all season. So it's those little things where, like, the completeness of the Seahawks can make up for the health of the quarterback if they get going early.
I can't totally make sense of the Rams right now because they had the big scare. Obviously, they're losing with 2 minutes to play in Charlotte in the wild card round, and Stafford basically bails out the defense. And to the defense's credit, they've then ended the game with an interception. But that was not a great Los Angeles game all around. And then last week against the Bears, that's a great game between two very, very good teams in very difficult conditions. The Rams have a terrible coverage bust where not even a bust, but on the Caleb Williams touchdown where the tight end gets a little push off and scores a miracle touchdown. And then they get the stop in overtime, and then they work down the field and kick the field goal. But still, it didn't feel like a complete Rams playing at the peak of their powers like we were seeing before they went into this last month or so. So it's like I don't see the Rams playing at their highest, most connected level, whereas I do see that for the Seahawks. And that's why, as we talk about who are you going to lock up, I will lock up the Seahawks right now. You have to, from the strategy standpoint, in our competition, I'm ahead by a game, but it's really about who's playing the best, who's at home. And while the Darnold thing scares me, I just feel like the Seahawks are an impossible team to pick against unless you think something like an injury steps in. They're doing it in all phases. And don't you pointed out the special teams, Mark. What Rashid Shaheed is giving this team almost every week is something I expect another big play from him. I think he's now in that Percy Harvin world where, you just Devin Hester world where you almost like got to bank on him having a big play in this game, whereas the Rams, I don't trust their special teams. You saw they had a bad punt that cost them late in the fourth quarter. You saw how they, had to fire the special teams coordinator. I think Thicker Kicker has really helped them. Mevis solidify things in the kicking game, but still I don't trust him at the same level as I trust Jason Myers, who I think is one of the very best kickers in the league. I think Seattle is the better all-around team. That's why I'm locking them up.
It's the rare case where I would pick the Seahawks to win, but I am locking the Rams.
No, you can't. No. You're messing with the integrity of our competition.
No, I'm saying just if gun to my head, I think Seattle's going to win, but I'm going to get fully behind the Rams, which is also against.
Well, but you have to pick the Rams, Mark. You can't not pick the Rams and then
I get it.
Lock.
I mean, I'm backed into a corner. I'm backed into a corner based on some bad decision making from weeks ago. I'm a little concerned about the Rams.
By the way, go lock up one of the AFC teams then. If you don't believe in the team that you're locking.
I don't like
that option.
I don't like that game at all because I genuinely think Denver's going to win that game. So I don't like locking that. I will lock the Rams. This thing's going to go right down to the end. I have no problem with it. Stafford is going to get one step closer to what should be a Hall of Fame career. I'm done with that conversation. They are moving away from their 13 personnel in these last two games. And I think if the Seahawks have guys like Devin Witherspoon and Evan Warrior that can move all over the place, they can't maybe lean on that. They're going to have to do Puka Nacua or the end of the earth. That 457-yard output by Stafford, is that repeatable? Because if you can get anywhere close to that, this thing is a shootout that goes down to the very bitter end. And you're constantly wondering where Sam Darnold will be health-wise. And I think that's a huge factor. So I don't have a problem with this. I'm happy to lock up the Rams.
Just get on one side of the fence, please.
Yeah. I'm on one side of the fence. It is a fair thing to say that analytically, I kind of think the home team Seahawks, who look as dominant as anyone, have the better chance to win. In my mind,
just sell it. If you're locking up the Rams, sell it, Sessler.
I think people get this is for the show, so that I'm locking up the Rams so that we can have a chance to have a Super Bowl showdown, not a flop.
I like it.
Good for you, Maki. Good for you.
All right.
I mean, why are you so celebratory of Mark saying I think the Seahawks will win, but I'm locking the Rams?
I think he gets what I'm saying.
Well, I'm at this point now that I'm just sliding out of orbit. I'm not even in the.
You're just looking for chaos.
Yeah, I'm looking for chaos. Yeah.
All right, why don't you pick your side on this, Connor?
So I'm going with the Rams. Because I don't. Yeah, you're welcome.
Wait, can we slide the curse bed to Connor now? Because Mark's been on a bit of a run.
No.
We might have to slide it on over.
Don't put that shit on me. I've had a bad couple of weeks, but don't put that shit on me. Mark has napalmed 70% of the NFL and has destroyed the promise of a majority of their franchises. I've had 4 bad weeks like Justin on FanDuel, and all of a sudden now the curse thing. Don't put that shit on me.
But our fortunes have flipped in around the same window of time there.
Justin, I believe we have a package.
Oh, you guys. I'm going to lock the Rams.
Look at the Rams line, baby.
Oh, yes! Connor's screwed.
That'll do it.
And I can take Detroit at home. Am I going to be right under? Can I tickle right under that spread? I don't know, but I'm gonna try to tickle one more week.
The game is over.
I'm taking the Chargers over the Texans.
Great game by the Texans. Thought they came out and dominated most of this game. Behind the back!
I'm going to lock the Ravens
rough.
in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
It is wide right! And the Steelers are the champions of the North! There's a snap. There's a kick. It is up. It is no good. The Giants have won Super Bowl 25.
I'm going to lock the fucking Chargers in this game. Oh, baby.
Let's go. Things just keep continue not to break his way. And Drake May,
say that
welcome
again.
to the winner's circle in the postseason. The savior of Italy. He's missed it. And Brazil.
That's why I am, with gusto, locking up the Houston Texans with my Back to the Future lock.
Oh.
In trouble. That ball is up for grabs. Picked off.
The throw has a man open in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown drop. Dropped in the end zone. Jackie Smith all by himself. Oh, bless his heart. He's got to be the sickest man in America.
He certainly does. And just like Terry Pagula didn't factor in receipts at his presser, so too does Conor now realize the folly of his ways.
You're not a curse?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, great.
Wow. From 9-5 to 8-12. From the top to the bottom. Hanzus 12-8, Sessler 11-9, Gravy 9-11. Speaking of 9-11, Conor 8-12.
By the way, to the asshole who points it out every week on Twitter, I fucking know. I know I've lost. Thank you about that. Like the second the game is over.
That was Justin.
You know,
I
almost felt, and you know, great work there, Justin. I almost felt bad there when about 5 minutes ago, Conor's like, you know, I've been dealing with a lot. Like, I don't want to deal with. I was like, we had that thing holstered.
Right. Oh, you're going through a tough time? Here's a graphical package that'll drop a bomb on your head.
So, Conor, back to the point at hand. The Rams will win how?
It's because I don't know. And that's the thing. It's like when you're marred in a slump like this, and going back to the fundamentals doesn't work, you are starting to light incense. You're starting to pray to gods that you are not sure exist. You're just in a weird spot, and I'm just flying right now. I'm flying blank in the universe.
We'll fly together. We're gonna get this one.
Let's go.
It's gonna be a long Sunday.
I mean, you know, it's a tough situation
for
where
Hanzus
now,
TC.
Yeah, now we need Sessler to be the guiding light and predictive.
I know.
Abilities. Like you're riding with the Sess dog.
Well, we'll see. I am feeling increasingly confident with each passing minute.
I know you are. Yes, Justin.
Connor's riding with the Sess dog, but not really. It's just a pick. It's not his lock. His lock is the Broncos. But I am sort of jumping on the same bandwagon as you guys. The curse, I don't know if it's shifted to Conor, but it does feel like getting that Seahawks by 14 points last week. I don't know. There's a lot of people talking that the curse maybe has been lifted. Dan, if you remember before the wild card round, you had us all close our eyes and intuitively predict who was going to win the Super Bowl. I said the Rams then. I'm not moving off it now. I'm jumping on board the Sess train and I'm locking up the Rams.
I feel great about this. I feel tremendous about this.
You know what? You know what the problem is?
I'm the only one who's picking the Seattle Seahawks to win.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
One of the three of us
the Rams are
do
a great
have a
team,
curse.
but that's incredible. That's incredible.
Well, you did the obvious thing, and I hope it goes your way.
I did
We've gone a little
I picked
avant-garde.
the best team in football. Well, Sessler. Well, I don't think the Rams will win, but I'll lock them up. Oh, please get off the fence.
I knew you'd.
You painted your Mona Lisa of.
No, you're going to
stem.
spend all weekend thinking about that, and you can just do it. Spend all weekend thinking about it.
As Don
great.
Draper says,
I won't be.
I never think of you.
Well, you do. You definitely do. You definitely are not Don Draper in that category.
Enjoy the brake lights behind me, because that's what you're looking at, Sessler.
No, you're going to be up the side. You're going to be in a.
You're up the creek.
Gutter on the side of the street. We're going to have to come tow you out of there.
I don't think about you at all.
That's the line that Ginsburg gets in the elevator with Draper, and he goes, I feel sorry for you. And then Draper, without missing a beat, goes, I don't think about you at all. That's where I stand on this one.
Ice cold.
You've mentioned it 13 times in the past 5 minutes.
You're gone, baby. I must vanquish you. You must go down. And you are aligned with Conor, who's in one of the all-time.
Which one of us do you think will not be thinking about this during the weekend?
I could certainly imagine you not thinking about football this weekend, but
no, I'll be thinking about football.
I
but
can
this
certainly
this
picture
is
a scenario
where
Sessler wakes up in the desert of the Sahara like Sunday morning. He's like, oh, I got to get back.
When this moves into Don Draper equals Dan Hanzus in terms of elevator pitches and insults, like I know we've gone somewhere.
I don't think of you
somewhere
at all.
different.
You're done. You're done.
But neither one of us control any of it. That's what the nature of vicarious hobbies are.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I would imagine whoever comes out on top on Sunday night, it's going to be a different viewpoint.
Yeah, I think one of us would be an incredibly good sport about it. The other would be Dan.
It does. We were talking before the show. About like the last time we had a close locks competition. It reminded me of the Super Bowl in Los Angeles, where it went down to Rams-Bengals, and I locked up the Rams. Ceci locked up the Bengals, and it went right down to the end. The Rams win, and we all were meeting in the concourse after the game with Wes's family and Lakeisha and everyone. Sessler was so mad that the Bengals had not gotten it done. He ghosted everyone and went straight to the podcast studio. So I believe you might be thinking about it this weekend as well.
I did. Maybe not the greatest reaction to a sporting event, but.
And you know what we win for this? Nothing. We don't even have a trophy.
Well, no, we talk about it all off season.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a great competition all season long, and we'll see. Because if I do win, it's over.
We
go into the Super Bowl, so it is. It is good sport. All right, now here's the deal. Check out the Friday Fun Show on Patreon to get a little off the beaten path with the heroes. On Sunday night, we will again be live immediately after the NFC title game. Live on YouTube, so be there. As soon as the game ends, we'll be there discussing both these games and talking about who's going to play in the Super Bowl. How about that? Final words. Ceci.
I don't know. This is kind of why we do this. Like, I love the nature of two island games back to back that we're all watching at the same time versus the car crash that can be week 6. This is beautiful. This is it. It's the 4 best teams left. Sign me up.
Let's do it. All right, everybody. Can't wait till Sunday. We know you feel the same. Till then, do what you must. Heed the call.
One of the most important swaps I've made is deodorant. It's something you use every single day and apply to a highly absorbent area. So what's in it really matters. Finding a natural deodorant that's actually clean and actually works can feel impossible. That's why I trust Primally Pure. Their non-toxic deodorants are made with simple, organic ingredients that are 100% natural and thoughtfully sourced, with thousands of 5-star reviews to back up the performance. Hot yoga, sauna sessions, long days on the go. It holds up when you need it most. Designed to work with your skin, not against it, this is clean care you can feel good about using every day. From deodorant to body, skin, baby, hair, and home, Primally Pure blends animal-based and plant-powered ingredients to support long-term skin health the way nature intended. January doesn't need a reset. It needs better rituals. And for me, that starts with Primally Pure. With greenwashing everywhere, finding personal care you can truly trust feels rare. Primally Pure uses real, raw ingredients to create non-toxic essentials that support your skin day after day. From aluminum-free deodorant to deeply nourishing body care, their formulas are designed to work with your body, not against it. And yes, a natural deodorant that actually works and holds up even when you need it most. From skin and body to baby, hair, and home, Primally Pure blends animal-based and plant-powered ingredients to support skin health the way nature intended. Simple, effective, and time-tested. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to what works.